for this very interesting presentation of your project, Resistant, because it brings a new dimension to our risk management, that is of training of different actors. And before we open the debate, let's say the 30 minutes that we have left for the debate period, I'd like to make a general comment about these presentations. The first is to comment how useful I found these presentations of the different projects, although we are looking at the same problems, possibly with very similar approaches, but they are complementary. Each one of us has our own perspective. We are looking at some particular aspects. So it's good that we cooperate. We are not competing. And especially the problem that you are addressing, that is the risk management, that is the saving of lives, requires the cooperation. And one of the problems that all our projects have is how to continue our work or how our products will be used afterwards, let's say, when the project ends. And for that, it's very important to have this cooperation, because we can leave this legacy for the other projects to continue to work, to extend them, not needing to start from scratch. One of the questions that were raised in the discussion today was the language, how to make these products available to different countries. And even there was a question addressed if this was available in Portugal. Of course, all the products that we developed in the different projects, namely in Roadmap, will be made for the entire Europe. Of course, depending on the work that is done in each country, the problem specific or more interesting for that country will be referred there. But in principle, we intend to make the work available and useful for the entire Europe. Okay, having said these words, I would like to invite Andrea Proto, the coordinator of the project, if you want to address any general comment about the webinar or to start discussion before we actually start the questions that were already raised in the question and answers or in the chat box. Andrea, please.
Domingos, thank you. I don't have specific points rather than thanking all the speakers for their contributions. My thought as I was listening to the interesting presentations is that actually this exchange among different projects point out that we highlight common issues. For example, the fact that the decision makers usually have terms of 3 or 4 years, so the continuity of the actions is not easy to assure, and so forth. So the impact of what we do is strongly related also to the capacity and availability of the bureaucracy and administrative and politicians to give a continuity and implement what we produce in our projects. And I think in this sense, the exchange that today is starting, I think is very fruitful. And my only comment is that any action that we can promote together with the colleagues that today have participated is of great benefit to our research, but also to our citizens. So I would stop here, and as I think the objective of this meeting is specifically to promote thought and comments, raise questions in order to open discussion. So I stop here, Domingos. I give you back the floor in order to manage this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andrea. I would like to invite Chiara. You put a question in the chat. Do you want to raise it alive to the speaker that you were addressing? Please. Chiara? Or possibly Chiara is not...
yeah, I think Domingos, I responded, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, Galia, you raise a question. Do you want to share your thoughts about what you raised and what was the reply that you got?
I was first of all, I'd like also to thank you. It was a good idea. You have a good sense for putting together all speakers, because we are practically tackling one and the same issues, and each of us realizes that, wow, we haven't been thinking about that and the other thing. So it's good that we shared our thoughts, and now we have them in one common platform. I see a lot of opportunities for cooperation. We already exchanged a lot of thoughts about how to share our products. It's a very challenging issue, and I think that maybe we can raise it in a common understanding later, or something similar to the DG Eco, because you find your way to promote, we find our way. It's very important that they find also their way how to promote their products, because we have many projects which are implemented under DG Eco, and more products under Horizon 2020, because there is a special DRS platform priority, and they haven't found a way how to promote it. It will be very important to introduce even artificial intelligence algorithm, how to map the results of those projects, because we know nothing. There are many products, especially in the area of science. And for example, I shared with one of the colleagues from Cyprus that we have developed within another project together with the Ministry of Interior, something very similar to what they have developed, but we don't use special technologies and etc. And it's in that case, we were looking, for example, for ready algorithms for calculating different risks, because it's done, it's everywhere. And it's something that we search, and we consulted with some experts, with some scientists. But if we have, let's say, a data bank of all algorithms, how to calculate the risk concerning earthquake, floods, or etc., it will be good, because in many cases, those who develop the systems, GIS systems or any other data visualized system, they don't need to develop a new algorithm. It's enough to have one common. And if there is a kind of an element concerning the price of the land, the price of the flat, it can be a variable that we can change somehow. But it's very good. I mean, for us, it's very good to know that we have you and your colleagues who have ready algorithms, because this is very important. We don't need to do that. It's good to share.
Thank you very much, Galia.
Thank you.
Nicola, do you want to comment something about this? Let's say the sharing of the databases and how to make them more available, please.
Yeah, I think, let's say, one first of all, let's say, all the experiences presented today are potentially a good example for good practice in dealing with specific aspects. So I think that, let's say, can be also a possibility of collecting, at least from a project, DG Eco projects, relevant experiences, not just, okay, is not just a good practice. The project is not just a good practice, is some experiences within a specific project can become a good, let's say, good practices to be shared through the Solutions Explorer, because maybe focus some aspect related to involving local communities, or focus on specific aspect on education. They are targeting some of the Sendai framework, but more, let's say, and they can represent experience that can be upscaled or replicated at the same level in other places. But of course, this, let's say, I think are good examples of not the project by itself, because it is useless, but let's say the specific experience, specific pieces of project can be really valuable for fostering also the sharing of knowledge through Solutions Explorer and so on.
Thank you, Nicola. May I ask you, having in mind what Calliope presented us about the training, are we also considering in our Solution Explorer the good practices in training?
Yeah,
is that considered as well?
Yeah, let's say they can be added in the menu. Say having specific objective about related to training education is altogether. So it's not so specific on training, but you can let's say specifically report that this good practice is focus on training and then describe better so it's quite open. And of course, if we find that some specifications, some aspects are not within the Solution Explorer, we can add some of the voices. So for instance, if there is no, I don't remember now the name, but you can say the actors involved are specific part of the community, and then try to let's say share, let's say, which is the main target of your good practice. This, of course, so far the Solutions Explorer is collecting just few good practices, just more, and we are in the process of putting. And during this process, of course, we can find that some aspects related to common aspects related to the good practice, such as maybe education, training, may need more specific attention. So we can set up specific keywords to describe better let's say the solution that will be uploaded.
Thank you very much, Nicola. I see that Galia has the hand raised. Before giving you the floor, I'd like to comment about one mention that you made to Horizon projects. I'm working in some of them, particularly in the field of forest fires, and there we are making a great effort of networking with other projects, especially from the Green Deal program. We have an action, concerted action to network with these projects, and we are making this effort, let's say, to have the common background and to share databases and share knowledge as far as possible. And I think this should be done throughout the disaster risk management community, not only the scientists, but also the operational people. Please, Galia, go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's I'll just bridge to what you are saying, that very good we have to find a common solution how to communicate with all communities, because there is one existing effort to develop a kind of a media channel online, not media, but community channel, community engagement channel. It's CMIM called, and it's well known for the DG ECO. They have projects from DG Science, DG Eco, and DG Home. And there is one aggregator, which is not very popular to most of the partners. I'll send you the link. It will be good really to find the way how to communicate with European Commission that community issues, because it's good that we meet with all these projects, but there is at least we consider it a big gap that we have still a lot of politicians who are not understanding the level of the importance of data. And if we are a big mass of experts and with the background of European Commission, I think that it can be a good format and approach to communicate with the national authorities, because we have, according to the Sendai, each government has to mainstream the promises on national level, and I would like to see how many are doing it. You know, that we need to find the support how to redress our good ideas and our practices in reality, and to make them viable. And my question was addressed to but he left, Panayotis, I think, whether we can, for the exercises, it's very important when we make tabletop exercises or discussion-driven exercise to have a kind of visualized tools. And we know that some people or some organizations, they have these virtual rooms and they invested in so-called gaming, that you have mapped the whole relief and the territory, and they can simulate fires or etc. But not everybody has it. And I think this is another good point of the networking, that we managed to put a network of existing facilities and to find a way how to use them. Because it's cost effective, definitely. And it will be, you are far ahead with something, we don't need to invest time. If we are going to train only a couple of groups there, it's better to be identified either online or offline mode. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Galia. That's a good point. Unfortunately, Panayotis left us, but maybe Calliope, who also is working in that field of artificial intelligence and vision augmentation, if you want to comment about this issue of sharing knowledge and also capacities throughout the community, please.
Thank you. Indeed, I agree that we should cooperate. Actually, we provide training infrastructure, and moreover, we work on artificial intelligence and special intelligence agents in order to find a way to support first responders. So we believe that all of us can create a new holistic approach, actually. And what Panayotis and his team did is really complementary to what we actually are working on and what we think we should provide. So I agree with Galia and of course Panayotis, who is not here now, that we should find a way to merge our approaches. That would be an added value for everyone.
Thank you very much. Having in mind what we are addressing in the project, I would like to ask Claudia if what we are doing and what we are learning from these webinars, let's say, is in the context of we wish to advance this.
I think that it was a very nice way to end the roadmap with this last and third webinar. And it was, I think, very nice actually to finally hear after 1 year and a half also what some of the other projects are doing. I would actually wish to have more time since I was actually also responsible for the work package, for the dissemination work package of roadmap, to contact you and to have perhaps several of these exchange also in a smaller scale, But I see that 1 year and a half in this project is actually nothing. It's a huge challenge to be able to fulfill all the tasks, to respond to all what we have to some extent promised to DG ECHO through this project. So I was wondering, while listening to you all, but especially during this last part of the discussion, if all the projects actually founded under the same call should contact actually DG ECHO and present in the proper form some of the challenges that we have been through, and if it's possible to overcome these challenges. One, personally, to me, is again the time frame of this project, which is really, really limited. The other one is what we have called in our slides and one point of access, one platform very easily very easy to reach, where we can share the information. Per today, the only way to know what you were doing was to go into your website, right? And this, I think, should be actually implemented via ECHO or via this CMINE, or even via the, I know that the Civil Protection Network platform has been newly established. This can be, for example, an interesting way to use that platform. I'm pretty sure that the Commission has thought already to accommodate there all the projects founded by DG ECHO. But definitely, I think that the sharing of knowledge is one of the biggest challenges we have. And not only here, actually, but I have, as Domingo has mentioned, experienced a bit the same with Horizon 2020 project. I feel, and again, it's my personal opinion, that research is still very much fragmented. But there is a lot out there that is reachable and easy to understand and easy to reuse and share. And to me, the most important actor, the key actor to try to overcome this fragmentation is the European Commission and DG ECHO. And I think that our role as a researcher, as participants in all this project, is to channel these challenges in a proper way and to make the Commission and DG ECHO even more aware, if they are not aware already, of course, of this kind of issues. And I want just to thank, I'm sorry that the colleague from Artion had to leave. I want to thank the other colleagues for the other project. It was very interesting to listen to you, and I learned very much today. And I wish you a good end to the project, because we are all ending at the same time. So thank you for this.
Thank you, Claudia. Now, before closing and giving the word to Andrea to close the meeting, I'd like to invite other members of the project that are on the panel, if they want to make any comment or address or even raise some question at this stage. Okay, Daniela, I see that you raised your hand. Please, you're welcome.
Thank you. I want to thank you, all the speakers, of course, very interesting session today. But my question or comment is about the glossary and the words that we have heard during this meeting. For instance, Galia, I think I noticed the definitions that you used in this scenario. For instance, it's in your presentation. If I'm right, are quite different from other definitions that we can see in other studies or in other projects. So I think that again, one of the points is that we should have a common definition, or we have to know which are the differences among the definitions and the language that we are using. Otherwise, we do not understand even among us.
Thank you for that question. Unfortunately, we are communicating with different people, and I'm personally even working at the Ministry of Interior. By the end of the day, it's not important to have the correct name. It's important to know what we are talking about, because the problem starts with the different legislation and what is categorized as a disaster, as an extraordinary event, and etc. And what kind of categories. Even DG ECO has a common system under DRMKS, this common knowledge network. They use completely old-fashioned names of the disasters. This is the basic. For that, I agree that we have to have a common label, but as I said, that we introduced the common tool from the UNDSR with their names, and the mayors and first responders said that this is not good for them. So we have to do things from opposite way. So in that case, what DG Home is trying to do a lot, please introduce all practitioners and first responders when you develop technologies and solutions, let them speak. Of course, I fully agree with you in terms of common procedures. We found out that there is what we are talking about, common standard operational procedures in European Union, we don't have. We have modules. And these modules, it means module in case of something, but it doesn't cover this 85% of other events. Then we found out that in Spain and in France, that they already use the system and processes of the Organization for Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid, OCHA. And they have their terminology, and they have published open source protocols. They started using them. Of course, we can change everything. We can have a common language. The point is what we understand under that. It's indeed, I fully agree with you, but it's very difficult. I mean, if we use two scientific names, it's not even understood by the ministries. I mean, I have personal experience that the minister is telling you, sorry, but I don't understand this Hawk Society language. Then we need to speak the language of Facebook. Unfortunately, it's also our task how to find a way to, common language with politicians. I fully agree. I mean, we can discuss any changes, and there are many approaches. I think that each terminology and each project is formed by the type of people who are involved. This is it. And I doubt that DG ECO will introduce a common terminology. They have one huge material risk assessment methodology with a lot of scenarios. It's quite good document. I mean, it's fine, but they are just explain how things are done in different countries, and each country has its own scenario, and they use also their own terminology. I don't know, if somebody finds a solution, what to do with that, it will be good. Maybe you'll be the person. No? Raising hands, you're ready to do that job?
No, it's difficult also within our system. So if you want to put together all the systems from all the countries, very difficult. Yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you, both Danielle and Galia. I saw that Bjorn Kuki had raised your hand. So
well, yeah.
Speak,
thank you. I think that Daniela and Galia, you made all the important points there. But it is a good practice to realize that we use different definitions. We have different terminology. So the good practice will be to define the concepts we use and to make sure that it's understood that we might use different definitions, different understandings of concepts. And one way of doing this good practice is like in this webinar that, well, we have some ideas about what good practice is. in first response or in on operational room level, and then when we merge our understanding of what good practice is with the people doing the simulation or artificial intelligence, that we can they bring the technology and we have the good practice, and in this way it is a kind of we reach a kind of common agreement. But in addition, of course, we need to make sure that we use the same or the concepts we use, that we understand it this in the same way, and that we defined it, and realizing that we will not end up with a common understanding, we will not end up with a common definition.
Thank you very much, Björn. Okay, we are reaching the end of the time that we had allocated to this webinar, and I would like to invite our project coordinator, Andrea. Is he online? Oh,
he wrote something in the chat.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. Okay, anyway, I think that Andrea would, of course, thank all of the speakers in particular and all of you who attended for your contribution. And I saw that in the chat, Galia also shared with us some information about the meeting, so we will take care of that as well. And our project roadmap will end next month in June. We'll have in-presence workshop that is planned in home for the 9th and 10th of June. And I think I'm sure that you'll receive notice about this event and also from other outcomes of the project. And as several of you mentioned, this webinar was very rich in the fact that not we only exchanged some ideas about what we are doing, but also we shared our common interest in putting together what we are doing, and as far as possible, let's say, try to join efforts also to go towards other institutions, namely the European Commission, DG ECHO, so that what we are doing can have a life after our projects end. That will be soon, but we still have to continue to work together because risks are not going to finish, and we need to continue to work on them all together.